Hi guys, I just got back from a 3-week trip to Japan and thought I would make a video about all the game pickups that I got while I was there. I have a whole bunch, so this is going to take a while, but I'll go through each one, kind of talk about what I got. A lot of these, let me grab another stack. There we go. Oh, Jesus. Man, I put down the game so hard I knocked Mr. Saltine out of the way. Anyways, a lot of these games I picked up at Suragaya and Hard Off, kind of stores like that, which are like the goodwill of Japan. All these games, most of them are all playable either in English or like have English subtitles or can be played without knowing too much Japanese. There's a bunch of different systems, so we're gonna start with the Saturn. You can skip around if you want. I want to skip to a different section. Nights into Dreams. So Saturn's weird. It was really popular in Japan, but not popular anywhere else. And if you are a Saturn collector, you should get all your Saturn games from Japan because they are a lot cheaper. This game, I think I paid like 1,000 yen for it, which is like, I don't know, $8. This same game in the United States is going to be way more than that. You're going to be paying at least probably like 60, 70, maybe $80. This is made by the same team that made Sonic. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like you go through these rings and there's music, and I'll put up some gameplay footage when I'm talking about this, but it is a really unique game. That's Nights into Dreams for the Saturn. Oh my goodness. I just keep on knocking you over, don't I? Put you back. Okay, next one is Daytona, USA. You can see right here, I only got this for 330 yen, which is really cheap. It's a typical racing game. And you can see like these games are like in really good condition. Even though they're secondhand, they look brand new because in Japan, they just take care of their games in a really, really nice way. So you can see here that the condition is just like amazing. Like basically no scratches. Sonic Jam. All right, this one's a little bit more expensive. I don't know why, but this one was really hard to find in Japan. I only saw it like once or twice. You can see this one was 3,300 yen, so way more than the last game we looked at. This game has all of the Genesis games on one disc, and it's honestly the best way to play those games because it basically reduces like any performance issues on the game. It runs perfectly, and so it's kind of like an all-in-one compilation. I think it has Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic CD. I might be missing one. Anyways, and this game, like I said, in the US, super, super expensive. So that's Sonic Jam right there. 800 yen for Panzer Dragoon. Another Sega Saturn game, Sega Saturn game that you should definitely have in your collection. It's kind of like, I guess I could compare it to like Star Fox 64. It's like an on-rail shooter, but it has dragons. And we'll see this again. But Panzer Dragoon, there you go. Another thing that you should have. Another game that is really popular is Virtua Cop. I think this one was also like 600 yen. I picked this one up at suragaya. Actually, I picked this one up in Osaka in Suragaya. That's the one thing I didn't mention is like what cities did I go to? So I picked up these games mostly in Osaka, Kyoto, Tokyo, Kochi. So kind of like a mix of bigger cities and, some smaller cities in Japan. So Virtua Cop, it's that one right there. We'll talk about at the end, like, what were some of the best stores that I went to in Japan. But Virtua Cop, it's like your classic, arcade shooter, I guess you can say. So that's that one right there. All right. Virtual Fighter. Okay, this one right here, if you look at this, you can see that this one's only 108 yen with tax. So this game is literally, what, like three quarters. It's less than $1. So second game, Virtual Fighter. I have the first one, but I've never played the second one. And, there's some scratches here and there, but like, honestly, like, it's totally fine for, what, 70 cents? Okay, next one. This is 800. Yeah, you can see it, 800 yen. This is called Fighting Vipers. So this is a fighting game. Let's crack this open. And it comes with like everything too. Like we got the manual right here, it all spilled out. So you can see there's Nights into Dreams, which is crazy. Like if you were to get these kind of things in the US, it would just be like the disc only. So that is Fighting Vipers. When you go and buy this stuff in Japan, the customer service is awesome. Like they will open it up for you, they'll show you the disc, and then everything on here, like it'll tell you like if there's something wrong with it. So it'll be like, hey, there's like a scratch or something. When I was collecting, I would say like if you go to Japan and you're looking to collect, kind of have like a list of like things you want to get. Maybe stick to like a system or two. So like my big thing is I wanted to get a lot of Sega Saturn games. That's because a lot of these games are playable in English. And yeah. All right, another Panzer Dragoon one. We got Panzer Dragoon 2 or Panzer Dragoon Zwei. So you can see this one's a little bit more expensive, 1200. So let's crack open this. This one right here is a sequel to, obviously, Panzer Dragoon. A lot of people think this one is better than the first one. It just improved a lot of the stuff. These stickers are on here. They'll come off really easily. That's the thing, too, is that you don't need any, like, Goo Gone or anything. Like, this stuff will just come, like, right off. It's super, super easy. Like that. I recommend getting the first one and second one. Really, really fun. Like I said, it's kind of like Star Fox, except you get to ride dragons. Really, really unique. And yeah, that's that one. So you can see like right here, it's like Japan only, but it literally is all in English. So presented for your pleasure. So that's one thing you'll see with Sega Saturn games. With that, all right, moving on. Okay, this one is not really playable in English, but I just got it anyways, just more as like a, just to have on the shelf. So this is Neon Genesis Evangelion, based off the 90s anime. This one's like I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a, not point and click game, but like it requires reading of like kanji and so yeah, it's definitely not a game you can play if you don't know how to read Japanese, but I don't know, cool cover art. And plus, you can see right here, it was only 480 yen. So I picked that one up. Okay, almost done with this. Okay, this is one I was really looking for. Okay, this was called Deep Fear. It's Resident Evil, but like it's underwater. So you can see, it's kind of hard to see with the reflection here, but you're basically underwater. Let's take off this plastic. It says at the top here, what does this say? Hereafter, we will have desperate days with nowhere to escape. So this is basically Sega trying to create their own Resident Evil clone. The voice acting is horrible. The voice acting is all in English. I'll have Japanese subtitles, but it's all in English. It's basically Resident Evil, except you're underwater. There's some other things with it too. Comes with the full manual. Just look how nice this comes in, by the way. This is like, what, 30 years old? And the fact that it comes in like, I don't know, this good condition, pretty solid. All right, moving on. We got this one right here. Okay, this is another one that maybe not a lot of people know about. This is called Fighting Vipers. No, not Fighting Vipers. I already just did that one. This one's called Vampire Savior. So let's crack open this. Well, here's the problem. They like tape it shut. So they really do a good job of packing this, but Man, oh man. Okay. Ugh. So this game is, as my camera is falling, there we go. Some top quality production here. It's a fighting game, but the cool thing about this one is that it's all like mythological creatures and like fairy tales, folk tales, cryptids. So like you can see right there, Little Red Riding Hood is on there. I think like Bigfoot, Sasquatch is in there. I think Dracula. It's basically creatures from like folk tales essentially, and you fight each other. You can see there on the back, a lot of different things, and yeah, it's a fighting game. And there's what the disc looks like. Got two more Saturn games. Some of our last ones that we got here, we got Dead or Alive, which gets its start on the PS1, I believe, and the Saturn in the 90s. So, of course, it has all its spin-offs, as we know. So this one, 500 yen. Another 3D fighting game. There's what it looks like. So, like I said, if you like fighting games, you'll love the Saturn. Tons of fighting games for it. So, there's that. Last one. Which this one is probably... I saw a lot of different prices for this one. So this is X-Men versus Street Fighter. So let's pop this one open. You can see right here that I got it for 1,500 yen. I saw like, sometimes this would be like, I don't know, like 3,000 yen, 4,000 yen. So this is one that you're gonna find everywhere, but you might want to shop around and see like if you can get the best price. I'll talk about that as well, like, you know, what to get at what stores and what to hold off on, and all that stuff. So X-Men and Street Fighter, this is the only thing with this one is that it's not, it's like a reproduction case, but whatever. You can barely tell the difference. So anyways, awesome. Everyone knows X-Men, everyone knows Street Fighter, and yeah. On Saturn version, there is a PS1 version, but the Saturn version is, it just is better in pretty much every way. So there's that. So those are all the Saturn games. So N64, you'll find it pretty much all throughout Japan. It's not the most popular system there, but you'll still find plenty of it. And like I said, all these games are either playable in English or they're playable even if you can't read Japanese. So first one right here, here's Kirby and the Crystal, was it the Crystal Shards? Yeah, Kirby 64. This one, believe it or not, I got it for 100 yen. I got this one at Book Off, and Book Off is kind of, like I said, kind of like a Goodwill. Have mostly books, duh, but they do occasionally have games. And actually, I found this in a bin, and like I said, for 100 yen, I cannot pass that up. So that one, great. And you can find the box copy, but this is going to take up less space. There's that. Okay, here is our next one. This is Wave Race 64. Like I said, I got a lot of these at Suragaya. I know when people think of like retro games in Japan, they think of like, you know, Super Potato and everything. Honestly, Super Potato is, if we're talking about the one in Tokyo, it's a complete tourist trap. It's like a ripoff. The prices are absolutely disgusting, and I would not go to that one to buy anything. The one in Osaka in Denden Town is not too bad, but if you're looking to get games for a pretty good price, Suragaya is great, and also Hard Off, Book Off. You're just not gonna find things right away. Suragaya flagship store in Suzuka. I'm mispronouncing it, but that Suzuka, I think that's how you say it. That one is where I got a lot of this stuff. They literally have everything, and it's crazy ridiculous. Anyways, that can be a whole nother video. Wave Race 64, like I said, super fun. I got it for 600 yen. This game is still fun. It has really good water physics. And like I said, you don't need to know Japanese for that one. This is where it gets kind of confusing. I'm going to pull up both of these. The Pokemon Stadium, or Pocket Monsters Stadium, and Pocket Monsters Stadium 2. Let's start with this one. Okay, so this one, gosh, how much did I get this one for? 100 yen. 110 yen with tax. So we're talking, like I said, once again, like 75 cents maybe. This one though, it's not the one that came out in the US. This one actually is kind of like a, I guess, incomplete version, you can say. So it only has like 50 or so Pokemon in it. It's missing a bunch of modes. It's just battle mode. That's it. So it doesn't include like, the whole linking to the Game Boy games. It's just battle mode. So it is not like Pokemon Stadium 1 in America. Now this one, on the other hand, this says Pocket Monsters 2, but this one is actually more like our Pokemon Stadium 1 in America and Europe. So this one, like I said, 400 yen. There we go. So this one includes all the Pokemon, and it's got more than just the battle mode. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then, of course, they do have the US Pokemon Stadium 2 in Japan, but I didn't really see that one a lot. So just keep in mind there's 3 Pokemon Stadiums in Japan. 2 is like our first one, and then the 1 is kind of like the beta version one. So that's just kind of a little side note with those two. Before I move on to Puyo Puyo, how do you know what systems play Japanese games? Look up that beforehand. All my systems can play Japanese games with some modification. So maybe I'll do that for another video. But like for the N64, all you have to do is like on the bottom of these cartridges, there's these little notches. And so on a North American N64, all you got to do is just remove these little tabs. And that's the same thing too for Super Nintendo games. You just have to remove these tabs that are on the bottom or on your Super Nintendo, and then it'll work. So it's just, you have to take a pair of pliers or whatever. It's super easy to do. And so that's what you do for the N64 as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. You don't need to buy a Japanese N64. And you don't need to buy a Japanese Super Nintendo or Super Famicom. So, Puyo Puyo Sun, puzzle game, pretty fun. It's kind of its own thing. It's on like every platform. You can get it for the PlayStation 1, GameCube, I think, Super Nintendo. So, but it is a Japanese exclusive. And so this is one thing in some of these games I'm going to show is that I try to get some games that you can only get in Japan. So there's Puyo Puyo Sun right there. Next one. Donkey Kong 64, and once again, 110 yen. Where are you able to get these games for so cheap? So like when you go into these stores in Japan, they have what's called junk section. And sometimes it's not in English, so you have to actually be able to know what the sign says. But it's usually in the back, and it's just games that are like, they're basically untested. Maybe they have some damage, like, this game right here, it's got a little bit of residue right there. But other than that, I mean, it's fine. Untested, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means they just didn't hook it up and verify it. But 9 times out of 10, especially if it's a cartridge, it works. I would check first in the junk pile. Yeah, that one right there. Lastly, for our cartridges, we're going to move on here to Super Smash Bros. 64. Now, one thing, so I put that right there, I have a double right here. So not only do I have the cartridge, but I also have the box copy. So the box copy, like I said, is awesome. Cool cover art. That's the thing, a lot of these games in Japan, they got way better cover art than we did in America and Europe. But why do I have 2 copies? Well, I did not see this copy of Smash Bros, the box copy. I only saw it like once or twice. So that's like my piece of advice is if you see the cart, especially if you see it for cheap, just grab it. So this is for, how much is this? 300. Okay, so it's 300 yen. So, I mean, that is less than $2. So absolutely take that. And then, if you find the box later, just grab the box, and then you could either, sell this or give it to a friend. Like I said, this plays on North American N64s. So that's that right there. Star Fox 64. So once again, as you can see, 1100 yen, not too bad at all. This is only going to be, just around 10 bucks or so. So let's open up this one. That's the crazy thing too about these box copies. It's like, a box copy of these N64 games is ridiculous. United States, like a nice box copy. They're gonna go for tons of money. I think I saw, man, what was it? It was like Majora's Mask or something, and that was it was like hundreds of dollars. So you can see right here, Japan always has the awesome box art right here. The only thing is that these boxes can be pretty bulky, but I only got two of them because you got to bring it home. So let's open up. So as you can see right here, it comes with the cart, and you can see on the back side comes with the manual as well. So you got the manual. It is in Japanese, of course, but everything's in there, nicely arranged. Yeah, that's it. And then the last one I got for the N64 is Animal Crossing, for the original Animal Crossing, actually, which came out on the N64 right here. So, love the box art. It's almost like it's like a postcard. You got like the stamps right there. You got KK down there right below. So this is, like I said, originally came out on the N64 back in 2001 and before it was released on the GameCube. Now, let's open up this. Now this game is missing a couple things that would come on the GameCube version. And as you can see, there's the cart. Now, you can see right here that you're like, hey, whoa. Hey, where's the manual? Where is everything? So yeah, this one I paid less. I think this one was a little more expensive. I think this was like maybe like 3,000 yen, but I paid less for this because it just had the cart. If you wanted the full manual, if you wanted, I think there was one with like an expansion pack, which you need to play with the game, that was more expensive. So that's the other thing to play this, you need an expansion pack. Save your progress on that. So there is that. You can even put your name on it. So pretty cool. So there's that one. All right, moving on to Super Nintendo. So we're going to start off with all of our box copies. So you can see right here, I got F-Zero for 1,100 yen right here. So you're going to find that these box covers are awesome. I love the Super Famicom versions versus the Super Nintendo versions of the box arts. They're all going to be mostly vertical. I don't know, I just feel like they look a lot better. So Super Nintendo there's going to be a lot of it in Japan. I found that it's going to be more expensive usually than like Sega Saturn, especially the box copies. It's definitely gone up. So there's F-Zero right there. That's pretty cool box art right there. Next up is Star Fox. So Star Fox first came out Super Nintendo, and we all know the rest. I tell you, these boxes, man, some of these are just, as my boxes fall, some of these are just impossible to open here. Let's let this open. So you can see right there is the manual and the cart. Oh man, they wrap the cart in plastic too. See, they just like take care of everything here. So awesome condition. So that's Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. Like I said, really cool box art. They do talk in Japanese, but pretty much the game's pretty solid to figure out, even if you don't know Japanese. So let's move that one out of the way. All right. Now this is one of the ones that I have been meaning to get. I had a list of things that I just absolutely wanted. even if it was entirely in Japanese. This is one where I wanted a box copy of Chrono Trigger. This one, like I said, I was not able to find it very often. You could find the carts everywhere. The carts are very easy to find, but in terms of the actual complete in box was a little bit trickier. So this one, like I said, this one doesn't have a price on it, but I'm pretty sure that this one was something like, I don't know, like 1500 yen maybe. And as you can see right here, it has a little bit of, it's a little faded, but that's pretty much it. Comes with the manual, and there's the cart right there. Obviously, this is a RPG, so it's gonna be a lot of text, but it's a game that eventually, once I learn some more Japanese, I would like to play its entirety. But there is Chrono Trigger, so another classic. And like I said, if you want to get this copy in the States, I mean, it's going to be a lot of money. And plus, I like this cover art a lot better than the cover art for the Super Nintendo. Another RPG, I was dying to get this one as well because I love the cover art. Final Fantasy VI. So you can see for this one, I paid about 1100 with tax, which is awesome. So where did I get this? I got this one at Suragaya. I got this at their flagship store. But once again, you can find this. I saw this was pretty common across Japan, but you're gonna pay different prices depending on what region you're in. There she is. Okay. It's not super expensive in Japan because a lot of the foreigners, the gaijin, they're not buying games that you obviously can't, like if they don't know Japanese, they're not going to be buying them. So this is one where it's actually not too bad. It's not super expensive. I'm going to show you another game that has gone up in price a lot. And one of the reasons is because it can be played in English. So I'll show you that in a moment. But that's just something to keep in mind is that some of the big heavy hitters, you know, Pokemon, Mario have gone way up in price, but Final Fantasy, like I said, hasn't. And yeah, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 3 in the States and Europe as well. Here's another one. This one was not sealed, but you can see right here, like it's not sealed, but like the condition's just awesome. That's Star Ocean. This one got a remake a couple years ago. So another RPG. I heard that it's playable if you don't know Japanese. You just probably won't understand most of the story. That's the other thing too, is that like you can still play these games, you know, it's pretty simple, like attack, use magic, whatever, but you might not be able to understand the story. But this is another one that is a classic. I don't know if this one came out in the States or not. I'll have to check that. But I only got this one for I don't know, maybe like 1,000 yen or something like that. So really good. Let's open this one up too. So, alright, so you can see right here, we got the manual, we got the game, and looks brand new almost. These always look really good condition. There's not a, look at that, there's like not a wrinkle in sight. This is over 30 years old, which is just kind of crazy. So the Japanese take really good care of their stuff. Sometimes at some stores, like suragaya, they will just sell boxes. And that's what this is right here. So this is Donkey Kong Country, and this is just the box. And you can see right here, it is 600 yen. So let's open this up. One way to save money is, let me show you a neat little trick. So this was complete in box on the shelf, and I think it was going for like 3,000 or 3,500. So this is one game that definitely has been gone up in price the last couple years. But the game itself, which I have right over here, is I could get it just for the cart. I could get 200 yen for just the cartridge. So I put two and two together, grab the empty box, I grabbed the cart, and so like I said, this was like I don't know what it just said on there, 600, just 200. So basically, I'm paying less than 1,000, and the whole thing on the shelf was like 3,000. So I saved like 2,000 yen. So that's one thing that just take a look at is that sometimes you'll just find the empty boxes, and then you can just pair the cart with it and save a ton of money that way. Same thing with like manuals and everything. So be a look. Suragaya, I know it does it. So yeah, take a look for that if you see it. So there's Donkey Kong. Speaking of Donkey Kong, second game and the third game, no boxes. Like I said, I didn't want to have a million boxes in my suitcase. So each one of these was only 380 yen. Like I said, you can really, if you are looking to build up your Super Nintendo collection, this is a great place to start. You can get 5 games for under 10 bucks. And like I said, these are not like obscure games. These are, mainline games right here. So if you're gonna go to like Super Potato in Tokyo, you're gonna be paying like well over 1,000 for these. So there are still deals in Japan, but you gotta not go to where all the tourists are. Another game that I actually got double on was Super Mario World. So I actually could not find this box during my time in Japan. I would occasionally see it, but I didn't really see it as often as I thought I would. There was times where it just wasn't at the store, or it would be very high price. This right here, I paid 2,200 for it. I saw some stores where it was like 3,000, 3,500. This has definitely gone up in price over the last few years. This game used to be like complete in box. You used to be able to get it for like 1,000, 1,500. And so this is one where I think come in and Super Mario World is like one of the, first games that they might collect for. But because of that, the price has definitely gone up over the last few years. So there's that. And as I mentioned before, I actually do have an extra copy of it. Now, why? Because, like I said, I got this at Book Off for only 100 yen. Book Off, you're not going to see too many games there, but if you do, you're going to see them really cheap. So, yeah, so I found that there. And like I said, I'll probably just either give this to a friend or sell it cheap. I'm not going to make a profit or anything. I may sell it for like, I don't know, 10 bucks or something. But yeah, there's Super Nintendo World. And let's take a look inside. Now, as you can see, this one does not come with a manual, so it just comes with the game, which not a big deal. I don't really need a manual for Super Mario World, so there's that. We have this guy, which I always blank on his name. Doraemon. Doraemon, that's what it is. Okay, so we got Doraemon here. Let's crack open this. So, like I said, I wanted to get some games that, there we go, that were exclusive to Japan, just for, collecting purposes. And Doraemon is hugely popular in Japan. I got this for 480 yen. I actually got this in Tokyo. I know, like I mentioned, in Tokyo, prices are pretty high in Tokyo. I actually got this in Akihabara, but there are some stores there that are still find some good deals. I got this one I think from Beep, and yeah. So like I said, there's a whole bunch of these. I just got it for more collection purposes. And then the other game I got for collection purposes was Final Fantasy V. I only paid 500 yen for this. The reason I picked this one up is this is the one that never came out in Europe or America for a long time, because I don't know if they thought we were too stupid to play this, or maybe they thought it wouldn't appeal to us, which I have no idea why. This isn't like The story isn't too crazy. It has this whole job system. This is really, really fun. There are fan translations that you can get online. Obviously, this is all going to be in Japanese, but I really recommend playing this. You know, this is one of the ones that we did not get in the States. So we didn't get 5. We also didn't get 2 or 3. Street Fighter 2. I feel like when I think of Super Nintendo, I think of, you know, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, that kind of stuff. So now I'm not super familiar with Street Fighter. There's like a million versions, and I don't know if I got like the original version or there's a bunch of different ones. I see this one has a sticker on it. This one was only 200 yen. Like I said, really good condition. Has some yellowing in the back, but this is really good. And I also got, now this is the one that eluded me. All right, so this is Super Mario Kart. I was looking for a box copy of this game for the longest time in Japan. I could not find it. I saw it, I think I saw it twice, but I looked at it and I was like, that's too expensive. Which, this is another game that was shot up in price. And those were the only 2 times I saw it. Now this one, I actually, for the cart itself, I only paid 400 yen. I think like for the box, it was asking for like, I don't know, like 3,500. I thought that was a little bit too much. Probably what I'll do with this is I'll probably just make a reproduction box, cardboard, and make the box for that. So this game's hard, by the way, which surprised me about that. This is the one game that I think if you're collecting in Japan, you should try to get like 1 or 2 things you're like, I absolutely want to get it, like a big budget item. For me, that was Super Metroid, specifically the box copy of Super Metroid. This cover art, I should say, is just awesome. It is the cover art for the, you know, the North American version, but it's just a little bit different. The coloring's a little bit different, the lighting's a little bit different, and I don't know, I really like it. This is also a game that has everything in English as well. There's an option where you can just put it in English. This is a game that has gone up in price the last year or so. So you can see right here, it's 11,000. You used to be able to get it for 9,000, even like I saw like 7, 8,000. So this is definitely shot up in price. 11,000 is the best deal I saw for it. I saw it at one place for, I think it was like 15, 16,000. And then I saw it at another place for 13,000. I saw it at 11,000 and I was like, I don't know, but I decided to go with it because that's the cheapest I ever saw it. And I got that at Suragaya. That's behind the case. So this is a game, funny enough, I actually got the card as well because I couldn't find the box or I thought it was too expensive, so I got the game just in case. And then literally the next day or two, I found the box. So I have both now. So there's a card in there. So I'll probably, once again, either give this away or, I don't know, just sell it for cheap to the game store so someone else can enjoy it. But yeah, Super Metroid. I only got one Genesis / Mega Drive game. This is called Landstalker. It actually was released in US and Europe, but I can never find a copy of it anywhere. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like isometric, like it's like top down, a little bit of Zelda-ish, but there's like puzzles, platforming, combat. You can play it, the Japanese version. Obviously, you won't be able to, the dialogue, some of the story you won't be able to figure out, but you can still do like the gameplay. Like I said, I only got it for, what was it? It's 900 yen. So yeah, whoa, jeez. Yeah, Mega Drive is really was not that popular in Japan, at least compared to like the Sega Saturn. So like, if you want to collect Mega Drive games, I don't know if I recommend Japan for that. They do have them, but they don't have tons of copies, and they're a lot more expensive for the same price almost as in the States. I don't really recommend it, but they do come in good condition though. I guess that is one benefit. No manual. We do get the cart. Same kind of thing. You can play Japanese games on your Genesis. I think you just need a Game Genie, or there's some sort of modification, but it's not complicated. It's pretty straightforward to do. Moving on to the Famicom. So I'll show off my Famicom back there in just a moment. So this is the NES that came out before the NES in Japan. So this is the family computer, or the Famicom. And there's a lot of games on here that never reached North America. So here's I have a bunch of different ones, and the cards are totally different. They're not the giant NES cards; they're a lot smaller, and they come in a lot of fun colors. And this one's just kind of like this beige. And like I said, these games are really simple. You can pretty much play them. This is called Castle Excellent. So this is kind of like a little bit of a platformer RPG kind of thing. Pretty basic. So there's that one right there. And like I said, that one I actually got in Tokyo at Beep. Great store. Go there. Don't go to Super Potato. 780 yen for that one right there. Let's put that right there. Here's another one. This is called Xevious. I believe it's kind of like a sci-fi, kind of like space shooter, I think. I'd have to look at the gameplay footage. I don't know if this reached American shores. A lot of times, if these games did reach American shores, they would change it, or the title would be totally different. So, but anyways, this is another one that I just want to get a couple games for my Famicom, and these games are really cheap, 500 yen. So once again, Famicom is good to collect in Japan. It's the only place you'll pretty much find it. And then the last Famicom game I got was, what's this one called? I think it's called like Galactic Trio? Trio of the Galaxy. So this is called Trio of the Galaxy, or Ginga no Sanin. Honestly, this one I got at Hard Off for 500 yen. I just kind of I just grabbed a random cart, and I was like, I'm just gonna grab one and see what see what I find. And this one, I don't know, the box art just kind of looked kind of interesting. You know, you got this guy with his giant gun, and this guy's like, oh no, and then you got this girl right here with like pink blonde hair. And this one is, I looked it up. It's a kind of weird game. It's you're on like a grid, and you're in space, and you can like move around on a ship, but it's like kind of like an RPG, and enemies will encounter you, and there's like these space aliens. And 1987, so pretty unique game. This one did not. I don't think this one came out in the US. I've never seen it before. So there's that. It's always just fun. Just go through the junk bin and just kind of grab a random game. And like I said, it's 500 yen. So there's that. So those are all my Famicom games. I'll show off my Famicom in just a moment. Okay, this one is purely display only. Do not have a PSP, but I love Metal Gear. And I love the cover art for this. So let's tear this one open. There it is right there with Big Boss. Man, I miss the days where stuff used to come with manuals. And I mean, that's a pretty cool display piece right there too. Now this is one that's skyrocketed in price over the last 10 years. So Pokemon. So you can see right here, I paid 1,000 yen for Pokemon Green. So Green is, of course, the one that only released in Japan. So it's green and red. Cool thing about this is that, you know, the sprites are all different. It's there's some changes they later did with the game. Pokemon Blue in Japan is actually going to be the version that we get in the States. This version and Pokemon Red in Japan, they're going to be the earlier versions. So they changed some stuff. Like I said, sprites are different. This game, it's like, this is always like the mythological game, like, did you hear they released a Pokemon Green? And I was like, no. And but this is yeah, that's it right there. Now here's the thing: I paid 1,000 yen for this. The prices for this the prices are ridiculous. Most commonly, this game, just by the cart, you'd see it for like 3,000 usually. But like in the super touristy areas, like in Tokyo, I saw it for 6,000 yen. which is ridiculous. This game is the most common, like one of the most commonly sold games in Japan. Like there's millions of copies. Do not spend $6,000, 6,000 yen for this. That's crazy. Like I said, you can find it for cheaper, but you have to go out of the touristy areas. So I think I got this copy in I think I actually got this copy in Kyoto, which has a lot of tourists, but you don't have people go to Kyoto to get video games usually. So that's the thing is that there's a lot of travelers there, but they aren't necessarily buying Pokemon games. It might have been Osaka too. So yeah, definitely do not buy Pokemon games in Tokyo because you will get ripped off. The other thing with this too is that I wanted to get a box copy. Once again, absolutely ridiculous. Even in the non-touristy areas, I think the cheapest I saw it was like 13,000 yen for Pokemon Green. And usually it would be like 15,000 up to 20,000 yen. And sometimes the boxes wouldn't even be in good condition. They would be faded. I saw one that was like 20,000 that was like faded. I'm like, are you kidding me? Kind of crazy. And the most ridiculous price I saw for this game was at Super Potato in Tokyo. 50,000 yen. I think it was like 55,000 yen or actually, but it was like 50,000 yen. You should never pay 50,000 yen for, even if it's a box copy. And there was another tourist there, another gaijin who was there, and his girlfriend pointed out, "Oh, man, that's expensive. I wonder why." And this guy, his fellow gamer, he was like, "Oh, well, it's probably because it's sealed." No, it's not because it's sealed. They just take good care of their stuff, but it is not sealed. It is not like it's a mint copy. They're just trying to rip you off. So yeah, be careful with Pokemon in Japan. Honestly, what I would do is just find the cart and then just buy a reproduction box. I literally bought a reproduction box on Etsy for $6. Or you can make your own. Don't be a Baka Gaijin and get Pokemon Green for a crazy price. So anyways, there's that. I got these at Hard Off in you can, like I said, if you were looking for like used hardware, Japan is fantastic for that. Wii remotes, oh my God, you can find so many Wii remotes. These are colors that, to my knowledge, were only released in Japan. I don't ever remember seeing fun colors in the United States. And as you can see, this one's only, like 330 yen. This one's 880. It's a little bit more rare and also has the Motion Plus. And these are in like perfect conditions. Always check the battery compartment. And as you can see, it's just clean. So that's perfect. Another thing that you can get is like controllers. So I actually got this in Tokyo and it wasn't bad. This is 2,000 yen for a junk Switch Pro controller. There's nothing junk about it. I mean, it's not dirty. All the buttons work. The sticks. Now, the only thing that might be a problem with this is maybe it has drift, but you can possibly fix that. And this is like, I think I got it for what, like 2,000 yen, which I think is like $16. I took a chance on it. We'll see what it's like, but I mean, this works on the Switch too. So that's the other thing is like you can find some good controllers in Japan for cheap. So that's the Switch controller. Here's a Sega Saturn controller that I picked up, which, like I said, I picked it up for, what is that there? 1,200 yen. I have one controller, but just a second one would be nice. So, like I said, all the buttons work. There's like no residue. It is in like perfect condition. I picked up a Super Nintendo controller. These ones are a little bit harder to find in good condition, but like you can see right here, like it's got a little bit of, a little bit of yellowing on it. But like I said, this is 300 yen. And like I said, good condition. Okay, I got a PS Vita. There's some dust on it. That's just from me setting it down. You can see there's like no scratches on there. It's actually a 1000 edition one, so it has an OLED screen. All the buttons work great. One of the sticks is a little slow, but I only paid, I think, like $60-$70 for this thing. It is in great condition, and like I said, I see these back home in the States, but they are well over $150. You can jailbreak this thing, have it play PSP games, PS Vita games, It's pretty easy to do. So that's what I'm gonna be doing with this thing is gonna jailbreak it. All right, here's my Famicom. So surprisingly enough, when I was in Japan, I could find Super Nintendos, or Super Famicoms, I should say. I could find them everywhere, and you can find them pretty cheap. So if you want a Super Famicom, really easy to get one. These ones, I tell you, they were a lot harder to find, and when I did find them, they were crazy expensive. These have shot up in price. And like I said, like you shouldn't pay a ton for this. I was in some places and they, would be wanting like 10,000 yen for it. The craziest prices I saw were at Super Potato in Tokyo, and they wanted, for some of them, they wanted like 18 to 20,000 yen. And they had one that was, it looked just like this. It had a thing on it that said it doesn't work. And they wanted 15,000 yen for it. So you're basically getting a thing that doesn't work for over $100. Crazy. Like I said, I found it in a junk section at I think it was at a hard off. I think I paid like 3,000 yen for it. It is yellow, but that's okay because I'm just going to refurbish it. Ever since I saw this, I remember as a kid looking at this and being like, why can't we get it in this color? And that is the Spice Orange GameCube. It only came out in Japan, color-wise. And I don't know, I just think it's awesome. I see videos from years ago where people go to Japan and collect stuff, and this was way more common, I feel like, but now it's harder to find. I think because people are going to Japan and trying to scoop it up. I wanted to get it under $100. It was $60, so that was good enough for me. But funny, and like I said, this one does not come, it did not come with any controller. There was one next to it that was over $100 that came with a controller and with all the cables. This one does not come with, this over. This one did not come with any cables, but that's okay because I already have a GameCube, and so I have all the cables right here. They're easy to find, especially like in the junk section. Like you can get cables easily, so that isn't really a big deal. That's one piece of advice is if you ever get hardware, you can just find the cables usually, in the junk section if you're at like a suragaya or hard off or wherever. This is pretty much just gonna be like I'm probably gonna mod this. Maybe put some like lights into it. Maybe like put a SD card reader. So this is gonna be kind of like my modded GameCube. I bought this, and this is what happens a lot with game collecting. I saw this, and I was like, I had to get it, so I grabbed it. And then I think like the very next day, I'm in Tokyo. And I'm in one of the like busier parts, and I just went to a book off just to kind of see what was inside. And lo and behold, sitting in their like junk section was an orange GameCube for, I think it was for like 2,000 yen. Yeah, that's $13. So like with tax, it's like, $16. That's what happens is like you'll see something for one price, you'll buy it, and then you'll just see it the next day for a much lower price. Or the opposite will happen is that you won't get something, you won't decide not to buy it, and then you just won't ever see it again. And so that's what happened with me with some games is I kind of said to myself, oh, I'll get that another time, and I never saw it again. So anyways, everything that I got from Japan, like I said, we got, all the, the box games and some carts. Sega Saturn is buried under there somewhere. So anyways, that's my stash I got. So yeah, if you have any stories about your experience, going retro gaming, shopping in Japan, feel free to leave a comment below. And yeah, and until next time, see ya.